The new iOS 18 is out, and you're super excited to update your phone to access all the new and improved features that Apple has to offer. First up, we got the advanced Siri. So now, instead of being told to search the web yourself, Siri can finally give you some valuable and useful information. Better yet, we have Genmoji, where you can create any type of emoji you want, such as a squirrel DJ, and send it to all your friends. All of this is promised through Apple Intelligence, which is Apple's take in this rapidly growing AI revolution. But the problem is, most of y'all are not getting any of these features, including me. See, I have the iPhone 12 Pro, and after I got the software update, I thought I was tweaking because I couldn't find any of the new AI features, which was basically the only reason I updated my phone. It turns out that Apple's gatekeeping Apple Intelligence for only the iPhone 15 Pro models and above. But what makes these specific models so unique? Well, let's find out. It all boils down to the hardware inside your phone. All the processes and functions that go on in your phone is thanks to a tiny system on a chip. Specifically, in the iPhone 16 Pro, there's the silicon A18 Pro chip. Let's zoom in on this chip to look at all the different features and components that it has. This system on a chip is very similar to your brain. Your brain is also broken up into different parts, each that serves a specific role, but at the end, they all play together to make your body function and work. Now, let's first look at the CPU, or Central Processing Unit. The CPU can be thought as the frontal lobe of your brain. The CPU is responsible for general purpose computations and controls most of the operations that go on in the chip. This is similar to how the frontal lobe is responsible for higher order brain functions such as reasoning, decision making, and problem solving. The A18 Pro chip has a 6-core CPU. We can kind of think of these cores as individual factories which are responsible for doing some processes and tasks. 2 of these 6 are high performance cores or high performance factories, and the other 4 are energy efficient cores. Next up, let's look at the GPU, or the graphics processing unit. Back to the brain analogy, the GPU is like the occipital lobe of the brain. The GPU specializes in parallel processing, handling all the complex calculations when it comes to rendering images or animations. This is similar to how the occipital lobe processes visual information around us. The A18 Pro chip has a 6-core GPU. Lastly on this diagram, we have to look at the neural engine. The neural engine can be thought of the neural networks and the synaptic connections in your brain. It's specifically designed for machine learning tasks and accelerating AI-based computations. This is just like how the neural networks and the synaptic connections in your brain enable learning, pattern recognition, and adaptive behaviors. The A18 Pro chip has a 16-core neural engine, which can enable up to 35 trillion operations per second, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Now that we've broken down the chip inside of the iPhone 16 Pro, let's compare it to the iPhone 15 Pro's chip, which also enables Apple Intelligence. Now, when we start comparing the two sides, we see that both have a 6-core CPU, both have a 6-core GPU, and also a 16-core neural engine. So did Apple just take the A17 Pro chip, throw it in the iPhone 16 Pro, change its name and call it a day? Well, there's more to it than just what's here on the diagram. First up, we gotta talk about the clock speed. The clock speed determines how many operations the CPU and GPU can perform per second. Looking back at the brain analogy, this can be thought of as the neural firing rate. The more often your neurons can fire, the faster your brain can process information. So with the clock speed, the faster it is, the faster your CPU and GPU can process information and perform different operations. But even with some of these disadvantages, the iPhone 15 Pro is still able to enable Apple Intelligence. So we still need to answer the question, what specifically about my iPhone 12 Pro is so cooked that it can't enable this beloved Apple Intelligence? Let's compare. All right, let's break down this diagram piece by piece. First up, the CPU. Well, it still has a 6-core CPU. Again, 2 of these being high performance, 4 being energy efficient. So far, so good. Next up, the neural engine. It also has a 16-core neural engine. Interesting. Third, the GPU. Okay, this one has a 4-core GPU compared to the 16 Pro's 6-core GPU, which can make a pretty significant difference. But the big question arises with the neural engine. We talked before how the neural engine is responsible for machine learning and AI-based computation, but isn't that what Apple Intelligence is all about? And if both phones have a 16-core neural engine, shouldn't my phone be able to enable it too? Well, the sad truth is no. Just like how the different parts of your brain need to be advanced and powerful enough to work together and try to solve that physics homework you got, well, the same story goes for the system on a chip when it comes to dealing with Apple Intelligence tasks. Also, just because we have the same number of cores doesn't mean that they're equally powerful. Remember when I said how a core can be thought of as a factory? Well, imagine one of those factories has very slow and untrained workers, whereas the other factory has very smart, fast, and skilled workers. So of course, the cores in the A18 Pro chip are going to be faster and more powerful than the outdated technologies of the A14 chip. Specifically for Genmoji, we need to have enough powerful GPU cores to enable the rendering of these complex graphics and handling all these visual data transformations. So the measly 4 cores of the iPhone 12 Pro is not going to be enough for that. Comparing the clock speed makes it even more clear why it's not powerful enough for Apple Intelligence. And to make this point even more clear, we're going to compare one more factor of both of these phones: the RAM, or random access memory. The RAM can be thought of as the hippocampus of the brain, both of which kind of deal with working memory. Whenever the CPU and the GPU are busy doing their things, they need access to some temporary storage so they can multitask and do multiple processes at once. Specifically for Apple Intelligence, a larger RAM provides the necessary data storage and quick access required to handle these large data sets that are needed. And unfortunately, the 6 gigabytes of RAM in the iPhone 12 Pro is just not enough to deal with the huge amount of data that we need for Apple Intelligence tasks. But even though the specs of the A14 chip are so scuffed compared to the A18 Pro chip, my iPhone 12 Pro still enables some AI tasks. Take this video for example. My phone is able to use some machine learning frameworks to optimize this video quality in real time. Also, this phone enables Face ID, text recognition, and also augmented reality and LiDAR. But at the end of the day, I still wish I was able to generate a cute emoji of a chihuahua wearing a sombrero hat and send it to my friends.